and welcome to a live Google webinar on how to help students learn more effectively with apps in the Google Apps Marketplace. My name is Harrison Shi, and I am a marketing manager with Google Apps. Also joining me are Alan Angel, president at Haiku, Zach Posner, CEO at Engrade, and Rafael Corrales, CEO at LearnBoost. They'll be talking a little bit more about their applications. To give a review of what we'll be talking about today, an overview of what Google Apps is and how it can help your school, and we'll dive into what the Google Apps Marketplace is and how it can help your school and your classroom learning a little bit better. And then jump into each of the vendors to tell you their stories about how their applications can help you more effectively managing learning management systems, group books, and things of that nature. So first with Google Apps. Google Apps is the best tools for education. I'm having some trouble with the presenting. Let me grab this real quick. Sorry for the confusion. So Google Apps are the best tools for education. We have all of the tools that you need for your messaging and collaboration in the cloud. We have world-class email with G, which is Google's email system. You have a huge inbox that you can use, and you can keep in everything. We have other messaging tools such as Google Talk and Groups, and then we have collaboration tools such as Google Calendar, Google Docs, which has word processing and the best level of collaboration, as well as Google Sites, video, and even our security in Pastini. All the services are yours for free if you're an educational institution, 501c3 nonprofit, and the exact same tools you get if you're an enterprise using these tools. So Apps allows you to collaborate better in the cloud and allows you to manage all of your activities in the cloud. But many people want more, and that's why we have the Google Apps Marketplace. The Google Apps Marketplace is our online storefront that was started about 9 months ago that includes now over 250 business-focused apps with 1 million users already accessing. The original focus of this marketplace was to be an online storefront for administrators to go and find applications that work with their Google domain. And we had targeted businesses, but what we saw was a significant demand from our 10 million users of Google Apps for education. Many of these users were using Google Apps for a marketplace to find business apps that they could apply to their education domain. This included ManyMoon, a project management app, SlideRocket, a slideshow presenter, and different apps like that they were applying. And they'd constantly given us feedback that they wanted more apps, more functionality out of the Google Apps Marketplace to extend their Google Apps, such as learning management systems. So this demand pushed us to launch something that would complete the pie for Google Apps users. They had amazing messaging collaboration in the cloud, but they wanted an education category. So that we brought to the Google Apps Marketplace on January 25th, which is Tuesday. As you might have seen in the press and on our blog, with more great education-specific apps to schools through the channel. Now schools can easily discover, purchase, and deploy integrated web-based applications that directly integrate into their domain. Every of these applications has single sign-on and easy access, which I'll show you later. And not only this, but with the launch of the Apps Marketplace education category, we've had a huge demand from developers that want to build on our platform and extend the functionality for your classroom even more. On today, we had over 19 vendors, including over 20 applications to serve your school. This is learning management systems and classroom management systems that we'll talk about and focus on today. It also includes things like Area, which is a student tool for design and animation, and it also has learning tools such as BrainPop and BuzzMath you to help your students learn in a different way than the traditional classroom. We actually have another webinar later this evening at 4 o'clock Pacific time and 7 o'clock Eastern time, in which we're covering more of these learning platforms and these learning tools. You should definitely join us on that as well. The information on how to join is on the original blog post, the Google Enterprise blog, and the official blog. Today we'll focus more on classroom learning. So what's such a big deal? We have a category that's focused on education-specific apps that you can deploy to your entire domain. Not only can you deploy them to your entire domain easily, you have some management over each of these applications. Just like manage Gmail, Google Docs, or Calendar, you can manage any of these applications, such as Haiku, LearnBoost, and Engrade. You can activate and deactivate them, and you can control your data permissions, which allows for better security and privacy, and allows for reduced overhead because you don't have to deploy a ton of CDs, have the manpower to go install them, update them on each computer. There's also universal navigation. This is one of the key components a lot of these apps will talk about. But you can access your apps such as Haiku, LearnBoost, Engrade, just as you would access Google Calendar or Google Documents. You have single sign-on. Clicking on the link brings you to the application without having to input user information and a new password. When you log in to Gmail or Google Calendar, you're automatically logged into all of your applications that you want to use through the marketplace. This is a secure data access through OAuth, open authentication that allows for security up to anyone's standards. We serve thousands of schools as well as the government and enterprises with very secure data needs. There's more integration. You can integrate into the Gmail inbox with Gmail contextual gadgets, their calendar syncs, contact syncs, doc syncs. All these allow for you to avoid redundant data entry and streamline your workflow in the classroom. And we have plans to further expand. We already have agreements with Academy, Blackboard, Newton, and more to join our marketplace and offer SaaS, software as a service applications that will have all of these advantages. So this is only to become more powerful and more valuable for our Google Apps users, prospective Google Apps users. But I really want to move forward to Haiku and the rest of the vendors to give you more of a feel for how these applications can really serve your domain. So I'll go over to Alan Angel, or Brian Falcon actually, who will be talking through what Haiku is and how it can serve your domain better.
Thank you, Harrison. I'm Brian Falcone. I'm the CEO at Haiku Learning. I'm joined with Alan Angel, who's the president. And I just want to tell you a little bit about Haiku and particularly about some of the exciting interaction between Google Apps and Haiku LMS. So in a nutshell, Haiku is a learning management system which allows you to extend or recreate your classroom on the web, and that's from everything from creating classroom websites, collaborative online tools. Now, what makes this different than a lot of other learning management systems that are out there, and we'll talk more specifically about some of the features that we offer. But we are designing Haiku to address the main pain points of any learning management system. That is, how do you make technologies that work well in the classroom, and how do we go ahead and stick them on the web, in the cloud, and how do we make them play well? And the problems that we've heard from teachers are login, password problems, the problem of managing lists, whether you're working with lists of content, lists of rosters, lists of files, or manage files themselves, the issues of trying to work with uploads or downloads. All those things are issues which get in the way of a teacher being able to work very quickly, very effectively on the web. What the teachers tell us is they don't have minutes, resources in the day to work with a lot of learning management systems, and more often than not, technology can get in the way of actually teaching and learning. So what we're really trying to do with Haiku, and why we're so excited about working with Google, is because we're really trying to create technology which allows our teachers and our students to be able to interact with each other on the web at the speed of thought. And by that, what I mean is that the technology is it's essential and invisible. That it doesn't get in the way of your teaching. It's there when you need it, and when you don't need it, it's not going to get in the way. And that includes everything. For example, uploading, downloading files gets in the way of being able to actually teach. And so we're trying to really create systems to allow our teachers to be able to work around that. And we do that through careful design, through a lot of feedback and support with our community, and also then some of the efficiencies of being an entirely hosted solution on the web. So part of the way we do this too, trying to make this technology invisible, is that we follow this very important rule of the essential 80%, and that is that we are presenting the features that 80% of our users will use, and we're not excluding the 20% of specialized functionality that other people need. That's also very, very important. But we're saying there's maybe learning management systems that work better for that. And so what we want to do is we want to go ahead and make sure that there's no feature bloat, that the user interface is as easy as possible, and thus you have a bunch of other from that as a school or a district. Your training becomes very minimal. It takes very little time for teachers to be able to move through a very streamlined interface. And so we end up with a very, very exciting interaction with a learning management system. So what can you do with Haiku? You can create websites at the most basic level, but also you can do collaboration, you can do assess and reporting. But basically, the LMS is designed to be the glue that connects many different services that are out there. And so to come back again to what's so exciting about working with Google is Google has these amazing tools for content creation. And so what it allows us to do is to be able to have our teachers and our students create content in other tools, such as Google Apps. And then we make it very seamless for that content to be pulled to a classroom environment where there is structure, where there's tagging, where there's organization, all automatically for our teachers. We'll show you some slide shots here in just a little bit. Some of our signature features, things that we're very excited about, our teachers are very excited about right now, are things like our we'll talk about apps here in just a minute, but Embed the Web, which allows teachers to quickly move through a directory of embeddable services that are out there and pull embeddable widgets into Haiku. Dropbox Annotator, which allows teachers to be able to, inside the browser, actually annotate over top of Word docs, spreadsheets, PDFs, and go ahead and then save that and hand it back to the student without actually having to download that resource itself. Resource sharing, being able to pass around pages and blocks and content and lessons without ever having to do any kind of downloads whatsoever. E-portfolios, again, a place for content to be placed on the web, but again, without any kind of downloads necessary in order to be able to pull content from a class and push it to an e-portfolio for later evaluation and sharing with others. And of course, the school portal, which allows many information from many classes to bubble up to one aggregated view. So just take a quick talk. I just want to speak a little bit about our Google Apps integration, and then Alan is going to talk through some of our signature features with you. So I talked before about the pain points, login, passwords, managing lists, managing files. And really what we're trying to do is remove each of those things. And already at a good place with the first of those pain points, that login and password that can just take down in a class, because Google's taking care of that for us. Since it's single sign-on and universal navigation with Google Apps, there's not a separate username and password that needs to be handled by Haiku. You basically just jump there from Google Apps and voila, you're inside of your learning space. But now what's coming, which is very exciting, is the ability to create content with things like Google Docs, and being able to then move that around inside of a classroom environment. For an example of this is having your students do a collaborative writing piece, and when they're done with it, being able to submit it directly into the LMS. And it gets tagged with the assignment, it gets tagged with the class, and it exists inside of Haiku, but at the same time exists over inside of Google Apps, so you can move back and forth seamlessly, and you don't need any kind of desktop application to run any kind of word processing whatsoever. The best part of that, it's organized. You don't need to organize because we're tagging it for you automatically, so it makes it very easy to be able to work with your documents. Similarly, being able to submit your Google Docs directly into Haiku. So again, there's no files being passed backward and forth. That third pain point I was talking about, file uploads and downloads. all back and forth in the cloud, so you don't need to worry about trying to save things to any kind of USB memory stick or anything like that. And we address the struggles of schools that may be using Google Docs Cloud and LMS. It's hard to be able to keep all your stuff organized, and so again, Glue goes ahead and connect all of these files in a meaningful way. And so as a teacher, you start to really work with your files or by class assignment and so on. So use this last bit about passing files back and forth seamlessly, tagging all of that. Currently not available if you go to Haiku LMS, but right now it's in the coding doc right now, so to speak. We're working on a bunch of these really exciting features, and we're really looking forward to rolling those out. I'm going to turn this over to Alan now to talk through some about some of our other signature features. So, Alan?
Thank you. Teresa, this is for you and all the 75 or so other people. Teresa just asked us on the chat here if we would show you some examples, so that's what we're going to do. One of the things I wanted to start by saying is, first of all, thank you to Harrison and all the rest of the folks at Google. This is an exciting partnership for us, not only because it's exciting to all of you, but it also supports our business model. And we want to start by showing you one of the, sort of a screenshot here of one of the unique features in Haiku called Embed the Web. The management component of Haiku is really, really simple. Brian, I don't think could have overstated how easy and fast the adoption is of Haiku LMS. One of the reasons for that is because we manage content in blocks of like content. It'll make a lot more sense to those of you who pilot Haiku, which we'd encourage you to do. You can provision a pilot domain through the Google Marketplace. And we'd encourage you to all to do that. There's no downside to it. You can try it out with your Google domain and provide single sign-on and full access to what we call the domain version of Haiku. What you'll see when you get in there is after you've created a page for your content, you simply click what's called the Add Content Block button. And among options, content blocks you can choose is something called Embed the Web. What's exciting about the partnership with Google, too, is that it supports the fact that we intended from the beginning for Haiku to be open and provide access to all kinds of sources, widgets, applications, content, and so on, many of which is free. And the web is a great way to do that. Things, if you're familiar as educators with things like VoiceThread or Glogster or all kinds of video resources, from TED videos to Google videos to YouTube, Academic Earth, YouTube, and so on. They're easily embedded just by simply selecting the embed code, pasting it on the screen as you see here. And that widget, that resource, shows up on the page in the context of the other learning resources that you might be building for your students. The thing that Brian briefly touched on is something that's rather exciting, a relatively new upgrade for Haiku. By the way, it gets upgraded on a 3-week cycle. Thinking about having web-delivered software is that we can make it better just about every day. And one of those new things, actually, there's a couple people in this room, in this conference right now, who are instrumental in making this happen. Current customers from New Jersey, from the Academy of Holy Angels. One of our customers going back a couple of years ago who said to us, teachers all use tablet PCs. It wouldn't be great if they didn't have to download and print the homework when students turn it in online. That fit exactly with our model of trying to make Haiku fast and easy. So we with another partner called Tutro, who had a great annotator that we incorporated into Haiku. What you see on your screen now is a real live example of what a attached document through our Dropbox would look like when a teacher opens it in the annotator, without having to download it, without having to have the application to open it. They can simply make their notes, grading and so on the document to the student with those notes. The student can then start off with those comments and notes on it, or they can publish it up to their e-portfolio, something also Brian mentioned that's a standard feature of Haiku. In that, we're working in a variety of ways to try to make great resources shareable among educators. I think some of the best teachers out there are people that are using Haiku. And we want to make sure that they can both access resources that other great teachers are using, but also provide them to others so that they don't have to reinvent the wheel. The first of several steps in this process of doing that is something we call a sharing feature in Haiku. There's 3 different ways you can do that. You can share an individual learning block or resource. You can share an entire page or lesson in Haiku, or you can share an entire class. What you'll see on the screen here is if you click that Share Class button, it generates a URL that you can either send in an email or in an instant message or post somewhere as a link to also uses Haiku. And simply clicking that link, they pull the entire structure, including the resources that you've created, into as an owner then of that content that they can then use as the basis of the class. In the future, we intend to provide another share mechanism. A feature we're working on now that we intend to release in time for the fall is a sharing library where individual resources or entire classes or anything in between can be created by individual teachers or curriculum people and so on in a school, and then passed or searched by Haiku LMS users, either by subject mag or state standard. Brian touched briefly on our ePortfolio. This is actually one of the ways in which students then can keep of the good work that they're doing. Schools oftentimes will create a template that students are required to follow to determine types of resources they can then collect. And more and more, these ePortfolios are being used by students when they're applying for colleges. You notice on the screen here, there's a mechanism called Share ePortfolio. It gives the student the ability then to give private password-protected access to a portfolio to, say, an admissions counselor at a university, something like that. There are many other features with Haiku. Brian had mentioned our 80-20 rule. So while we have lots of good features, we want to make sure that they're easy to use. One of those is providing easy access to the data that's coming from all of the courses. Haiku is not only used by teachers, and of course by students to interact with their teachers. It's also a great resource for parents to find out what's going on in their student classes. So imagine you were a parent of, say, 5 or 6 kids in a district, and all the classes that they might have. We want to make sure that it's easy for you to filter out what's going on in all those classes. So the portal is a way to do that. It's simply a way to just check off the boxes and pull the data, but everything from most recent grades that you've gotten on your various assignments to resources that have been added to the course that are happening and so on. There are many advantages to Haiku LMS, of course, not the least of which is this new partnership with Google. Our goal, of course, is to be as open as possible to content as fast as possible. I've already mentioned that one of the great advantages of Haiku as a web-delivered platform is that we can listen to our customers, respond rather quickly to their needs and desires, and continue to make the product better and better over time. Because it's web-delivered, it's, of course, much less expensive than it would be to host your own version and so on. So good advantages to that. We encourage you to, again, go through the marketplace, add a pilot domain to Haiku, which simply do by clicking the Add It Now button. Back real quick to that previous screen, if you would. And if you wouldn't mind just really quickly maybe mentioning one of our customers. I know we're running out of time, but maybe just a minute or two.
Sure. The Online School for Girls has been a wonderful partner with us because they are the first virtual all-girls school, and so they were looking for a learning management system which would allow them to take the way that they taught classes in the real-world space and move that into the virtual space. And what they found was that Haiku's way of being able to connect content to each other in much more of a web instead of a hierarchical method was something that worked really, really well with the way that found that girls learn most effectively. So that just kind of speaks to the kind of the flexibility and the kind of, we talked before about the glue and how we can connect a bunch of different resources out there. It worked really well with their model and also works very well with the Google model. It makes it very different than a lot of other learning management systems. Okay. We're out of time, Alan, so we should probably hand it off. Thank you so much for this opportunity to talk.
Thank you very much, folks.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was great. We have a bunch of questions that have come in, and we'll be addressing those at the end. So just a couple of reminders. This webinar is being recorded, and you guys will all get access to this after the webinar. We are also taking questions. If you click on the question mark box, Q&A at the bottom, I'll address all of those at the end. So keep the questions coming. Next, we have Engrade and Zach Posner will be talking about this. Zach?
Hey, thanks, Harrison. Thanks, Alan and Brian. So yeah, I wanted to quickly go over Engrade and give you guys a little bit of a background for it. So we're going to quickly touch upon the background. We're going to talk about what we're about seeing, with education in the cloud, specifically get into some Google Apps stuff, go over some of the tool sets that are available, and then talk about what's upcoming with Google Apps, and then give you a little bit of feedback on what our customers and our teachers and school administrators are saying. So to the background, it has, it was founded in 2003, and it has a pretty strong user base. And we think that the ease of the use of the product is what's kind of driving the user base. Two, we continue to add thousands of users on a daily basis. We have grown just by hearing teacher feedback. So functionality that we'll discuss later in the presentation has originated from teacher or school administrator feedback. We are 100% free. As the slide says, we have about 275,000 registered teachers. We have about 15,000 schools and universities, north of 2 million students and parents that have signed up. That's to say that a teacher in your school or university are actually presently using Engrade or have definitely used it in the past. So, Google Apps, they've been a huge advocate of education in the cloud. It's something that we've been doing for a couple of years. We're excited to team up with them for this. What gets us excited about education in the cloud is there's no more software versions. So you do not have to upgrade every year. You don't have to have people into your school. Everything's hosted in the cloud. Yet you can easily share lessons and other classroom materials between teachers. This is something that we advocate at Engrade. The cloud allows you to create new online learning opportunities. So a student isn't confined to what they're learning in their class. They can also take advantage of learnings that are happening all around the web. We have, Engrade provides persistent and connected learning records. And of course, you have 24 access from all locations. We're on Android phones. We're on, all the mobile devices. That says, as both Harrison and Brian mentioned, the single sign-on process is just amazing to not have to have people worry about lost passwords anymore. The thing that people want in this day and age is another password. So pretty simple to add Engrade to your school domain. I'm not sure if you guys have experimented or not, but you can literally, as an administrator, go to the Google Apps page, type it in, and then before you know, it's actually available to every person in your school. It's available to all the teachers. It kind of sets you up with the basic teacher use case, which says, hey, you now give permission to all of your teachers and you allow them to create classes. We'll talk some additional use cases as we go forward. This is what a teacher sees with the grade book. It basically acts as a suite. There's spreadsheet-like functionality. It automatically performs calculations. There's one of these spreadsheets for each of the teachers' classes. A tool set that we have besides the basic grade book you just saw, there's also attendance. There's messaging between teacher and students and administrators and teachers and parents as well. There, within the secure messaging, you can attach documents to it. There's an assignment calendar, so teachers can assign assignments to their students. And of course, there's parent and student access. The core gradebook functionality and some of the relationships between teacher and students. There's also online quizzes where a teacher can create a quiz. A teacher can then assign the quiz to the class. That will then get emailed out to the students. The students will take the quiz, and it will automatically grade the quiz for the teacher and drop it into the grade book. Actually, something that we released earlier this year, and the usage has been through the roof. We're actually we're getting told that we are hogging up all of the computer lab time because of this. Here we launched wikis or lesson plan functionality, where a teacher can lay out their whole lesson plan in a style format online, and then they can share it with his or her students. And there's also the ability to share it with other teachers. Flashcards is something that we also recently launched, and that's a study tool, the traditional study tool brought online that can be assigned to class, that can be assigned to classes. And from a discussion perspective, we also provide a forum where teachers can hold secure chats with their students. The basic use case, which is just a relationship between a teacher and a class, we also have an administrative functionality. So you can sign on to Google Apps as an administrator, and once you do that, you then can create a school, and with a school, you get a school ID. One school ID, if you can pass that along to the teachers, and then as an IT administrator or as a school administrator, you now have access to everything that's happening with school, including full access to the classes and the grades. Find out what the relationship looks like. This is what the access levels look like if your school's fully on Engrade. So you have the administrator, which oversees both the school and the teachers. The teacher oversees the classes, and then the parents and students have a relationship with all of their classes. We launched with the single sign-on functionality. We've listened to you guys and some of our users, and they've requested some additional functionality. So within the next month or two, we'll be launching calendar integration, grade export, attendance export, quiz, and one-click emails. Customers, our teachers, our schools, we have whole districts like Camden County, North Carolina that are using Engrade. We have charter schools like individual instances of KIPP are using Engrade. We have universities like the New Jersey City University. There's countless homeschoolers that are using Engrade. And presently we're grading millions and millions of students via the gradebook platform. The feedback that we've gotten is just amazing. We probably receive anywhere from 200 to 300 pieces of email a day requesting feature requests or just praising us, like some of these emails. This is something from a school administrator. This is, we're proud of these. The last line, Engrade was an answer to all our prayers. And then here are a few comments from teachers. This is what teachers are saying. Again, you can probably take a survey at your school, and some of the teachers in the school have definitely used us in the past, and they will be speaking highly of us. If you can, feel free to email us at googleapps@engrade.com, and if you let us know what type of question is, we'll route you to either myself, our CTO, our head of product, our head of marketing, depending on the question. We look forward to speaking with you, and thank you.
Thanks a lot, Zach. That was great. So next we'll have LearnBoost talk a little bit about their app. So I'll pass it over. Just remember, keep the questions coming in. They're going great.
I'll start with some background. So LearnBoost is a completely free, all-in-one gradebook, and we have a mission to save schools millions of dollars every year by teachers with amazing technologies. Gaining traction in over 20 countries in a really short amount of time. We launched under 6 months ago, and because we have a great team, we've built out a comprehensive teacher product that typically takes several years to create. More background, we're well funded by the same investors that backed companies like Skype, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So we have amazing venture capital firms in our corner, and our product utility and our open source innovations have helped us get us by many journalists, including Read Write Web, which is just a top 10 startup of 2010. So the LearnBoost tour, and in this presentation, walk through LearnBoost product and talk about each of the features that are tightly integrated. Our technology is so responsive that even on slow internet connections, our product has seen to be believed. So what is it? It's a known product. and it's free, and it's a solution for classroom administration. And much like presenters, it's exciting to have Google single sign-on so that LearnBoost can be embedded into Google's suite of products. So now school administrators can give teachers and staff access to LearnBoost with just a few clicks. And of course, since we're so customer-driven, decided to expand further in terms of Google Apps functionality is that we're going to see what teachers do and don't request, so they're risking building something that they don't want or need. So let's move on to the product. This is a dashboard, and it has everything synced in one place so that teachers can manage their schedules, calendars, grades, plans, attendance, and also generate powerful, visually stunning and reports. Next, our grade book. It's based on our real-time technology, which is why LearnBoost product responds so quickly. And here you can see snapshots of student progress. We also have full-screen mode that you can switch to when you really need to focus on grading and want to see more columns and rows. And customizable grade scales and weights as well. The attendance feature is quick and easy to use. You can actually switch between two views. So what you're seeing here is the chart view. You can see all your students lined up in the classroom, and you can arrange them however you'd like. You can also switch to a more traditional list view if that's how you prefer to take attendance. And basically, we're trying to make attendance easier so that teachers spend less time with administration and spend more time on instruction and learning. Our lesson plan feature, you got beautiful lesson plans and even tag them with Common Core standards. LearnBoost allows you to embed unlimited media. So videos, pictures, you name it. And you can print and share to join a collaborative education community. This is our reporting, and this is a gem of a feature and very exciting. Snapshots or detailed information, and one thing you can do is change date ranges to any you like to be able to note trends. You can look at all class achievement or take a dive into individual student progress. You can see the button that says switch to student view. That's how you do that. And also print off student reports as well. And the student level view. So you've just clicked on that, switch to student view. And here you can see those individual report cards and the individual student progress. Here easily integrates into your Google Calendar to organize your schedule. And we're always looking to improve. And you can show and hide as many calendars as you want, which is so very exciting part of the product. So in terms of case studies, Jason Pine Ridge, he's one of our power users, and he used all our features. And he was happy before we've even released our parent-student functionality, coming later this month, that he recommended our product to his entire district. And that's grassroots adoption you get when you build a product that fulfills a need and people respond to. The advantage of LearnBoost brings this up. Feedback tabs on every single page of our application so that you can an idea or a comment with a member of our team instantly. Our service team then sees your feedback, and we make sure to respond to every single inquiry. Oftentimes you'll even see myself, the CEO, responding to customers. And customer-driven that I actually personally welcome every single new sign-up, which these days is quite an investment of time. Nelson, another case study, he's been an early power user of LearnBoost and loves the Google integration. A single sign-on, he's representative of the latest wave of users that have been enabled by Google, and they benefit from the entire Google Apps suite. Now, just some closing points. My contact info, you can reach me if you want to further. And actually really glad that parent and student access piece was bolded by Engrade in the previous presentation. It's a reminder, LearnBoost is actually releasing our parent and student functionality this month, and then it's really going to take us from rapid growth to something even faster. So that's coming later this month. And so my email's there, just another sign that we're really open and transparent about who we are. And you're more welcome to email me personally if you have any questions or want any more information. Send it over to Harrison.
All right, so those are fantastic presentations from just 3 of our apps that are in the marketplace. Like I said, one, this will be recorded so you can revisit, share it with your IT admin, share it with your faculty and your anyone that might be interested in this. But we'll also have another webinar later today at 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific time or 7 o'clock p.m. E time. If you want to learn more, we'll have different apps on here, so you guys can hear from them as well. So to answer some of the questions that are going through, you guys are welcome to continue to send questions through. But some of the questions in relation to Google Apps, I'll knock off quickly. First is really on the security level. So one person asked, with school domain, can the email be monitored, filtered for language or content? And so this is yes. So we have a comprehensive email system that works fantastically with businesses or schools, where you can have central management of all of your emails, and the school can control, archive, monitor, filter emails that contain certain things, or to proceed with certain things. So another question was around multiple domain support for EDU, and this is something we've been working on and building it. And you can go to google.com/a/u to learn more and contact a salesperson to familiarize yourself. So with that, I ask all of our presenters to unmute so that they can participate in this Q&A. Some of these questions are rather generic, so I want to give everyone the opportunity to talk about them. So one question was I directed at Google Apps, but maybe can be more generically too, and that's whether integrations with Moodle might be coming. So on a Google Apps side, we're constantly looking for ways to tie into on-premise or LMSs, the ones that were presented as well as other ones. One of the apps in our marketplace called Annotator actually connects Google Apps for Education and gives single sign-on and universal navigation access to Moodle and Sakai. So that's something you can find in the marketplace. But I don't know if any of you had comments on maybe some of the other LMSs out there, and it doesn't have to be Moodle, maybe Blackboard or Sakai, and how you guys interplay with gradebooks and their LMS. If any of you guys have comments. Really? Yeah, maybe Alan or you guys have.
Harrison, this is Alan. There was one that's similar to another question I actually wanted to address earlier. I forgot about because we provide integration and single sign-on through Google. That doesn't mean that we still won't do what we wish to do in a district environment or school environment, which is to populate the courses and accounts out of some level of integration to work in tandem. So you do Google sign into Google for Haiku. But when a teacher logs in, they can find a placeholder for their class.
Hey, Alan, you're trying to speak up, kind of cutting in and out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. What I'm trying to add is that because we have Google integration and single sign-on through Google, mean that we won't also do, and still will do, integration with your student information. So, and that's very common practice in Haiku space, where we populate the class rosters, course lists, with the data that you maintain in whatever PowerSchool or Aries or whatever your SIS.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone else. This is Brian. So we can pull in classes, rosters, basically populate our system with any kind of class information that might be coming from the SIS, and in some cases we go ahead and push information back to the SIS to like grades. So integrate a lot of integration opportunities there. Right.
And from the Google perspective, we had all of this as an opportunity to integrate across all web apps, whether it's Google or other things. We just don't want data to be siloed, and where we see the future moving is kind of in the cloud classroom. So a lot of these on-premise solutions we think will change. We have hedged our bets that cloud computing is the future, and I think we're being validated by that statement through the excitement from the education category of the Google Apps Marketplace, including commitments from Blackboard to launch a SaaS app, a hosted app that you can access through the cloud and Google integration. So I think true with all of our apps, that's kind of our goal. And another question was asked is if any of these require local installations. And just overview, these are web apps, so no downloads required for the most part, and all this stuff happens with 4 clicks. Really, really easy deployment. It's just linking of accounts. But I'll open that up if there's any exceptions to that with any of you guys. If there's not.
In Haiku's case, there's no download. It's all web-based.
Yeah.
Same here.
That's
Yep.
generally how all of our apps in the marketplace, all 250 of them, work, is that they're cloud-based. So you access them through a browser, and that's kind of the advantage. So these CDs, these patching, they update them themselves. And the next question is I'll come to them is how individual user utilize these, and if there are free trials. So I'll answer the individual user part. Only IT admin for now can deploy an application to an entire domain. A couple of workarounds to this are, one, to open up a free Google Apps account yourself. You can just sign up for one. It's free up to 50 users, and deploy applications, test them. You can open them up in classrooms and assign users to your students so that your entire classroom can use it. Deploy these applications. But the other part of the section was, on cost. So free trials and freemium versions, they run through in the same order as the presentation. Again, just what are your offerings on a free level, or if someone's not committed yet to buy. So maybe we can start with Brian or Alan. Brian, do you want to talk about Haiku?
Yes, Brian. Yeah. So we offer a teacher version of Haiku, which you can use Haiku for free indefinitely. You get free, and then you also have you can run a class indefinitely. You can also sign up for a institutional account and get a free trial of that as well. So teachers have the end to use it and go ahead and give it a full run, but also then we have means for schools and districts to go ahead and run the institutional version too.
Hey, it's
great.
It's Zach here from Engrade. We're a completely free product, so there's no cost associated with this. So give it a try. You can sign up individually, as Harry explained, through a Google account, or you can toss it on your domain.
Yeah, this is Raphael from LearnBoost. This is a great question about ability. Well-known investors who believe in the product and our products as a free teach solution. We're going to keep your solution free, and then when we develop our entire school systems, we'll have a freemium model, and we'll still have an option for schools to keep using our entire product for free. So completely free. There's no cost to use LearnBoost.
Fantastic. And beyond that, security seems to be new that many people are interested in. So so Google, we have a reputation, I've already mentioned this, of security. But maybe in the same order, you guys can talk a little bit about your application, how you handle data, and the security that schools can trust with you guys. We can start with Haiku. Ungrade.
Sure. This is Brian from Haiku again. Yeah, I mean, we are particularly concerned about security because, grades are being passed back and forth within the application and then back and forth to people's browsers. So we do require security certificates on all of our domains to make sure that data is always encrypted back and forth between systems.
Yeah, Zach here from Engrade. Similar type of approach. Everything is in a secure environment. There is an option for to go in with HTTP opposed to HTTPS, but that's only if your school cannot support it. So the preferential treatment and the default treatment is completely secure environment. Everything's encrypted from our end as well.
From LearnBoost, and we use SSL, which is standard for the highest level of security. It's a secure sockets layer. So we use that, and that's required anyone using our application. So everyone's secure, and that's what we use, which is pretty standard.
Great. So I think we're dying down a little bit now. I'll give a chance if you guys have questions that you saw that you want to answer. We can all do one more, or otherwise I'll just wrap up. If you guys have any last thoughts on things that you've seen in the Q&A, I'll give the vendors one last chance to address.
This is Alan. I wanted to point out one difference in mentioned that we do have a free individual version available through our website. Sometimes teachers just sort of want to go out and try it on their own. Somebody asked earlier why they're not seeing the ePortfolio feature. My guess is that's why, because ePortfolios are a feature of the institutional link.
Great. Any last things before I close up?
No, everybody on the East Coast and Midwest is doing okay with the storm, and be safe.
Yes. Yeah.
Just happy to be here, and it was great to be on this panel with everyone.
So, this question was about the Sakai Moodle connector, and that's called Edutone, E-D-U-T-O-N-E. Otherwise, this will be recorded, so you can go back and listen to it. Really enjoyed everyone being on here. I think this is a great opportunity for everyone to go to google.com/appsmarketplace/edu. You can explore all of these applications, look at reviews, look at the descriptions, and test them out of domains, and that's really how you can get a feel for these. Otherwise, thank you everyone for coming and listening to us, and we have a webinar this afternoon if you guys want to join that. We'll probably stay around for the next 4 minutes, not verbally, but if you have other questions, we'll answer them and run through them on a live basis. So thanks for attending, and we'll wrap up there.